Welcome back to Soul Purpose. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Today, I've got an amazing, powerful leader. And I'm going to talk about her in a second. Fast. For if it's your first time in Soul Purpose, please welcome. Here, we actually showcase leaders who are passionate, who are strength. Their is actually knowing who they are, but then helping other people to show what leadership can actually achieve and what they need to do for themselves. Now, today we have this amazing leader. Her name is Ruchi Singh. She is, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to share her. Now, Ruchi is an international keynote speaker. Her latest keynote was at the United Nations. Wow. She is personal leadership and communication mentor for executive and entrepreneurs. Ruchi has a talk show. She's a talk host show at Ruchi Singh Talks on YouTube, where she primarily shares inspirational videos and interviews, generally of the Indian Army, thought leaders and experts. Wow, that's amazing. Ruchi is an award-winning HR professional and author. Ruchi holds a master's in business administration, MBA. Ruchi is also a human rights advocate. Ruchi creates awareness about domestic violence, as well as the resounding power within us that can transform our lives. Ruchi excelled as the head of recruitment, hiring across level, including leadership hiring for 2 Aviva Center, achieving many careers milestones. Ruchi was awarded the Leadership Excellence Award for successful transition and harmonizing of the recruitment process across 5 offshore Aviva BU. Ruchi's story of a personal courage and leadership. Personal courage and leadership. Sorry about that. Personal courage and leadership shown in Recreating Her Life has been published in Femina, one of the most prestigious and oldest women's English magazine in India. Wow, this woman is amazing. Ruchi says that she is in business of courage. She took leadership of her life, found her unique voice, and create an impactful life. Ruchi now helps countless others do the same world over. Ruchi is featured in documentary made by an award-winning documentary maker. The documentary Till Death Do Us Part is the official selection of the New York Life of Film Festival 2020. Check that out, guys. Ruchi is the reception of Powerhouse Global Award 2019 and was featured as a Heroes Among Us by Wonderful Woman. This is beautiful. Ruchi has been published in top of publication like Thrive Global, BBN, Times, Femina, and Circle Time. Of all her milestones, Ruchi is most proud of the fact that when she dies, she will have the satisfaction of knowing that she did a tiny bit to make our world a better life or a better place. Ruchi's life experience and her talks have impacted people world over. She talks about courage, leadership, communication, personal leadership, managing changes, resilience, mental well-being, inclusion, and diversity, and world peace. Ruchi says, when life challenges me, I say, challenge accepted. Game on. Ooh, my goodness. Ruchi also says, I hope this is just the beginning of our relationship. I'd love to stay connected. I welcome you to be part of my life's journey. And I will share Ruchi's social media so you can be able to contact her. And also she's going to tell us as well. So for everybody else out there, I want to welcome this amazing, courageous woman. Ruchi, welcome. And thank you for being here.
you so much for having me. And wow, what an introduction. And I like your style. You have got style and panache. Oh, and let me tell you, your story is so powerful too, and so inspired, so inspired. You are one courageous lady, and I really admire people who go through difficulties but still handle it with a smile.
Of course, there's no other way than a smile at the end of the day. And
Yes.
you are the courage one as well. You've been, oh my goodness, you've gone through so much, but also you've done. And then the funny thing is that when you say on your on your biography, a tiny bit of changing this world, it's just that really tiny bit. You are doing remarkable out there. But first, before we can go that far yet, I would like us to know you when you were growing up. How was life there?
Like my childhood?
Yes,
All right. I very rarely get asked about my childhood. And that's a very happy topic for me, honestly. I have had a golden childhood. Amazing. I'm very blessed that way because now when I'm grown up and I heard of such horror stories about child sexual abuse and other stuff, and I'm like, thank you, God. I'm so grateful that what I took for granted, that having a safe, protected, loved, privileged childhood is not really so common. So, I come from an army background. My father is a retired colonel from the Indian Army, and I'm very proud of the fact that I'm daughter of an army officer, who served the nation. So that is one thing I'm very proud of. So I'm an army brat. Um, I had a very, like I said, I had a very happy childhood. And you know what really helped me, I think, later in life also is as an army child, we moved from a place to another almost like every 2 years. My dad got posted, right? So every 2 years we had to like uproot our life, make new friends, get to a new school, get that kind of rapport with the teachers. So unknowingly, one thing is it makes you comfortable with people, with change. And change is something which, as human beings, one of the things which really holds people back from really experiencing life is that fear of change, because people love their comfort zone, right? So being an army child, by force we could not be very comfortable every 2 years, and I enjoyed it. And secondly, another thing which we learned that, see, India is a very culturally rich country, very wide variety of cultures. Every state has a different, almost every state has a different language, some dissimilarity between food. It's like mini countries, all right? So when and everyone, like it happens with countries also. Most of us, we think, oh, our country is the best. So in India, we also sometimes feel our state is the best. But being an army kid, I have always thought of myself as an Indian. I really do not relate to a state. I'm an Indian, and that's it. uh, and what we realized from a very early childhood is that never generalize. People everywhere, every state, and later when I started traveling abroad in every country, they are nice people, and
mm,
sometimes they are not so nice people, and that's just humanity in general. And that broadened our horizon. And it's a beautiful thing, because all of us have some biases. Unknowingly we have our own biases, but I'd like to say that because of my childhood, I I'm very accepting of people of different race, religion, culture, color, and I connect with them on a level which is beyond all this. So all that is thanks to my childhood. And it's beautiful being an army kid, I'm very grateful that my dad was an army, seriously. And then you're surrounded by people, because in army, and I'm sure it's true to military of every country, you have to have something which is, uh, most of us work for money, name, fame, our personal satisfaction. But when you're in army, you know that death is very real. You can really die on your job, and people
Mm.
die on their job, right? And when death is such a normal part of your life, and you're willing to die for something which is bigger than you, I think that is that makes army people world over special. To have that kind of passion that you're willing to die for it, very few people have that. Or maybe I am slightly biased, but that's what I feel. So having that kind of feeling makes you more have again a very wider horizon of looking at life. So I had a very nice childhood, and personally my father is one of the most well-read human beings I've ever come across, like most well-read. And my mom also, like, she's MA in Sanskrit, right? So growing up, we had discussions, where my father and mom, we used to discuss Indian literature, Indian freedom fighters, poetry in Hindi, and then Shakespeare. So I've grown up with this mishmash of reading P.G. Wodehouse and Georgette Heyer and John Grisham at the same time, being familiar with work of Kalidas and all, thanks to my mom, or Mahabharata and Ramayana. So again, that makes you have an eclectic taste in life, and it's so much fun, because your world is so much bigger. So yeah, I've had a very happy childhood, and I'm grateful to my parents for doing that for me and my sister and my brother.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad to hear that. Now, tell us the time that you started growing up and you started having your own visions, having your own dreams. How was life then for you?
I have, all right, let me think about it. Okay, so my dreams kept on changing. I wish I could tell you that from my early childhood I wanted to be an astronaut or something. No, no, no. In fact, let me tell you this. There was a time where my only ambition in life was, wait for it, my only ambition was to marry an army officer. That's it. Oh my God. And my parents, they got so worried. Not that I wanted to marry an army officer, but my parents, my mom has this thing that every woman has to have financial independence. It is critical.
Mm.
And so they were not okay with me just forget army officer, getting married just to anyone. They were like, no, you can marry whoever, but you have to be qualified enough so that you can earn your own money. That is very important. And now I realize how critical it is for women to have their own money. So that was my ambition for some time, but I was very young, a teenager that time. So yeah, I had my dreams like anyone else, and it kept changing, and I was trying to find myself. I had some crazy dreams, like I wanted to be a rock star, and I have pretended, I can't sing well, but I pretended like jamming and head banging. Me and my sister, we used to just head bang and pretend to be, I don't know, like, Metallica or Pink Floyd or a footballer. Yeah, like Zinedine Zidane. I love Zinedine Zidane. He's my favorite. So yes, that like I said, I never had a very set ambition, but I've always had my I've always, ever since my childhood, I have had the confidence to express myself, right? And the ability to stand for what I believe in. So even though I can't say I had a set dream, but I had these traits which I'm very grateful that I had, and
Mm.
that has helped me in my whole life, really, my whole life. So yes, I wish I could give you a deep answer, but this is what I was. This is what I was, and I just wanted to read. I love to read. Like
And
that's
that's amazing. And thank you for your answer. It's not a right or wrong question, and it's just because of that. Wow, that's 8, and that's all right. Now, let's go to why women advocates, why going into women rights and helping women.
Okay, so I I don't know if I can call myself a women advocate, but I stand against domestic violence. All of us have our own causes, right? And there's so many good causes, but then we only have so much time and energy. So my cause is domestic violence. I stand against domestic violence, and I stand for all the victims of domestic violence, be it women or men. Because if I'm against violence, I can't be choosy and say, oh, if you're a man, I will not support you. Then I'm a hypocrite. So, life is funny. We have like millions of moments in life, and we have our own dreams, and we have a complete plan done. But then life is like, la la la, you can make all your plans, but I'll happen the way I have to happen. So it happened with me also. Sorry, I have a bad throat. So I was married, and it was, let's just say, it was not a very it's not the stuff dreams are made of. And there came a moment, like things kept happening, and you keep hoping. A lot of times, most of us, we stay in a bad relationship or dangerous situations because of two things: hope and fear. Hope that things will get better, and fear of the unknown. What if I leave him? Then what is there out there? You're scared of that, right? So I was no different, and I was in that relationship for close to 5 years. Then a time came, I was in Sydney, and it was winters, and it was a Friday night actually. So my husband, now my ex-husband, he came home drunk, and he threatened to kill me. Like, he was very drunk, and he took a butcher's knife to my throat and kept it there, and it's like, I'm going to kill you. And it was pretty traumatic, and I would not want anyone to have this experience. There, like, for the longest time, there were things which I could not remember clearly about that night. It used to come in flashes. But there were two things which I remembered. One was, I had to be very still. I don't know how that thought came, and it is very difficult to explain when you have a knife at your throat and the person is very drunk holding it, and you definitely don't want to die. And it happens in seconds or minutes, but it feels like a lifetime, like life stops. And I had one where the primary thing in my mind was I have to be very still so that I don't aggravate him. And I don't know where the thought came from. Maybe because, I don't know. I'm just thinking because when we were growing up, my dad used to say, when you see a wild animal, don't run, be still. So maybe that was it. And the second was that, oh my God, I'm going to die here tonight, and I'm not going to see my family back in India. And that made me very sad even at that point of time. And rest, a lot of things were happening and going through my mind which I can't articulate. But anyways, he changed his mind. I could have done nothing. So at that point, if he had wanted to kill me, he could have killed me, and I would have been able to do nothing. Instead of stabbing me, I had a red exercise ball, the big one. So he just stabbed that. So I'm sorry for my ball, but I got lucky. So that was the turning point. And I was sitting, we used to live in a very posh locality in Sydney, like very posh waterfront. And people, whenever they used to come, they used to like, oh my God, you're so lucky. You live in a 5-star hotel. It looks like that. Beautiful, beautiful. And I was sitting down there because I ran and came down all by myself, and I was crying. And it was winters in Sydney. I was thinking, now what do I do? And life is not like a movie.
Mm.
It doesn't happen the way they show in movies, that suddenly things all fall into place and it happens smoothly. No, it can be very messy. So it didn't happen that I walked out immediately or I called the cops. I was with him after that also for some months. And but I was very angry with myself, not with him, like, of course, but more with myself, because even though I was with him, I was always questioning myself. What am I doing? Is this why I have taken birth? Like, I was so disappointed with myself deep down. And it was bad. I was so scared of sleeping in my own house. I used to try not to go to sleep. I used to try to be awake because I had this fear that if I sleep, he'll come and he'll kill me. I had this fear. I'm not saying he was planning to, but I used to feel that, and it was a very horrible thing. And I used to pray to my Guruji. I'm a devotee of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. He's founder of Art of Living. So I used to hold his tiny picture in my hand and say, Guruji, now I can't keep awake. I'm going to sleep. Please, can you keep me safe till morning? And we don't want that kind of a life, right? And but I'm very glad of that anger. People say anger is bad, but sometimes I feel little anger is needed. It is needed, because if we don't have that anger against bad things, then what are we going to do? And I was so furious at myself, because I was like, it's not that he was holding me in chains or something. I could have easily walked out, but I wasn't. And I do understand, like, you have gone through it, so psychologically also it takes a toll. It takes a huge toll, because you start believing, like in my case also, I started believing that cops will not believe me, because that's what he has told me, that cops will never believe me, and he's very polished, suave, sophisticated, a charmer. As to, like, I don't have any proof, they will not believe me, they will doubt me. And I think this is one of the way these people use, right? But then it is so confusing, so traumatic, that you don't know what to believe in, what to do. And I couldn't share it with my family. I was scared for them, I was embarrassed, I was humiliated. Like, you're like, this is not who I am. And prior to that, I was in a good position in HR, in a leadership position. So I do not even have a personality. People have an idea that it can happen to a certain type of people. But when I talk, I share my story for a reason, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And lately I say it is like COVID. It can happen to anyone. So, so yes, but that anger helped me. And slowly, every day when I used to cook, I used to think, I mean, where is my self-respect? I'm cooking for this person, things like that I used to think. And I used to listen to a lot of scriptures and a lot of talks. And one day I heard on TV that someone had killed his wife in Western Sydney, I think, on news. I was like, this could have been me. And it hit me. Like, I was like, this is not why I've taken birth. I refuse to be a statistic, just a statistic. Like, I refuse to be that. I'm more than that. I was like, why have I taken birth? To do this? To be this? Uh, and then, like, when you face death, almost certain, that you also realize a lot of things become very clear. The perspective gets very clear. And I'm like, what's the purpose of my life? What if I had died that night? What would have been the value of my life? Because the only way we add value to our life is when we are helping others, when we add value to other people's lives. So all this, like I said, it wasn't like it happened and like this, it was adding up, like little things, like my phone, my WhatsApp status is a Robin Sharma quote. Fill your heart with giant dreams so that it has no time for petty pursuits. So I changed it. I came across it and I wrote it. And it was like a message to me. I did not, a lot of women, when I was talking to them, not even sharing my story, but when I shared someone, they were like, but he didn't really hurt you. Things like that, which is called victim bashing. And it hurt me. And a lot of them, a lot of people, they become very bitter, and they're like always bitter and going on and on about this happened but doing nothing about it. So this saying also was like a anchor for me, that either I can be involved in these petty pursuits, blame game, or I can have bigger dreams. So yes, all that helped me. In fact, I was my first audience. I gave the first speech to myself, and I have it on my phone. I have it on my phone. Nobody has ever heard it. Like, yes, my close friends, but I've never shared it. So all that happened, and I started talking about it. When I shared with my family, they were very supportive. They were shocked, very hurt, and they were very supportive. So that helped, because if they had not helped me or stood by me, it would have been very, very tough, 10,000 times tougher. And I decided, I was in HR, I could have gone back, and it would have been easier for me, because at least monetarily that would have been more stable. But I said, no, I have to talk about this, because people were saying, no, no, don't talk about it, don't tell a lot of people, and then like people will judge you. Some people were like, people will not like to be around you if you talk about such a topic like domestic violence, and who will marry you again and stuff like that. Like, seriously. So I was so tired of people telling me what not to express myself. And luckily they were not, my family was very supportive, but then there are a lot of other people also, right, who in your life, who have some influence over you. And I was like done of being not being able to express myself. I've had it for 5 years. So I decided, I said, no, I will talk about it. And the purpose is to create awareness about it. So I've never talked about, like, I've never shared the name of my ex, nothing, because my purpose is not to witch hunt him. My purpose, I can't then go back to his level, right? What's the point? My purpose is bigger. I want to create awareness about an issue which impacts millions of women, men, and children all over the world. My story is not unique. It is the story of millions and millions of people, and I can talk about it, and I can talk about it in a way which connects with people. So I talk about it, and I was very scared the first time, because I'm a private person. I don't like talking about myself much. It doesn't seem like it now, but believe me, I don't like talking about me much. I got on stage and then talked, and it was very difficult for me, but the reaction was so amazing. People came, some had tears in their eyes, and I could see the audience. It was a 500 strong audience, and like the people were like, they were responding. They were like horrified, and some people had tears. And wherever I have spoken, be it at that first time or at the United Nations, I've always had people who have come to me and said, hey, this is happening to me. This has happened to my mother. Or you have given me hope. I was planning to commit, thinking of suicide, things like that. And that makes me carry on with this, because honestly, it does take an emotional toll on me whenever I talk about it. This has been not very old, very recent, hardly been 3 years. So, yeah. And I started my YouTube channel, Ruchi Singh Talks, and there's a story behind it. So do you want to know the story?
Yes, please.
All right. So I think I started in March 2018. Okay. And before that, I was nowhere. I did have a Facebook profile and LinkedIn, but I was totally not active on LinkedIn. And Facebook used to keep reminding me, send reminder mails after 3 months. Your friends are missing you, Ruchi Singh. So I was like, I really, like I said, I don't have to be on social media that way. But I was so tired of people not letting me talk and say, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. And I said, social media is a very powerful platform. So this name is actually, it's like a pun intended, Ruchi Singh Talks, because people were telling me not to talk about it. So now I talk everywhere. And I'm so glad because, like I said, so many people have reached out to me. I get almost daily, I get messages either on somewhere on Facebook or LinkedIn where someone has reached out and said, thank you so much for talking about this. Or like I make other normal videos also, when I was going through my divorce, I needed an outlet because it was very depressing to not go down that drain where I become bitter. And I started making motivational videos. And I was doing it just so that, I just don't add to more negativity in this world. But now I realize that it helps people. So yeah, that's all I've been doing.
Wow, that's not all you've been doing, because you've actually attended the TED Talk and also gone through further than that. Tell us a bit about your talk with the president of India or something that you did with us. If you can share with us your journey from speaking and actually going to speak on a big stage, but also going back to India and helping the women there, and acknowledged with your journey and everything.
As in, you want to know how I got to talk at the UN?
At the UN, but also you had a, what do you call it? You also had a, what you call it, with the, I forgot the name of it. Is it the president of the Indian or something? They did an award for you.
Oh, I just recently got an award on Teachers' Day. So on 5th September in India, we celebrate Teachers' Day. It is on the name of our former president, Dr. Sarvakrishnan. How can I forget his name? Dr. How is this possible? Oh my God, this is so wrong on my part. My mind has totally gone a blank. Wait, let me tell you. Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so on our second president after independence, our second president was, called Radha Krishnan. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, all right, and we celebrate 5th September in his honor. So I was recently given an award on his name for my contribution towards nation's development, that award said. So yeah, but I've not like gone and talked to the President of India. I wish that happens, but no, that was just an award. So honestly, all these keeps happening. It's God's grace, and I think the social media is responsible for it, because even I don't know how they came to know about my profile or where they heard me speak, but I got an invite from them. There was a summit happening by on what was that called? Leadership, Young Leaders Excellence. I think age is catching up with me. I don't know what is happening today. I'm like just forgetting. What was that? That summit was called Young Emerging Leaders Summit or something like that, right? And so they invited me to speak, and they asked me to speak on world peace. So I talked about world peace, and I what I talked about was, for us to have world peace does not mean lack of war. It means much more than that. it definitely means mental peace at an individual level, because if someone is going through domestic violence at home, and a house is the first unit of the society, right? If home is not safe or at peace, there can never be world peace. Or if you're getting bullied at home or school or workplace, so peace is more than that. And unless all that happens, there can never be world peace, because end of the day, people even at the topmost rung of society, the presidents, the prime ministers, the peace brokers, they're also human beings. And if they are not mentally balanced, so when they are negotiating, we always carry our own biases with us, right? So I talked about that, I shared my story, and I also gave some techniques like meditation, pranayama, breathing techniques, and all, because I believe in one thing: me saying be at peace is useless till the time I also share what can we do to have peace,
Mm.
right? So I shared 4 techniques which helped, and I'm a very firm believer of going within, and
Yeah.
I can't change you, Barke. I can't change the world. The only person I actually can change is myself. And if every individual does that, takes that responsibility, our world will be a much better place. Because for me, if I keep saying you change, and I don't do anything, I have to first take ownership and responsibility of my own life and my own value system. And first, I have to walk the talk, right? So I shared the techniques also, and that helps people. So yeah, I've forgotten what your question was, but I'm so sorry. I don't know. I forgot 2 names which are so close to me. Like I forgot the summit name and all. So please
It,
forgive me. This is my age catching up on me finally.
well, it's all right, and you're getting wiser. You're not getting older. And for what you said, really good. But now I want to know, because I've heard that you are actually working on your book. So tell us a bit about your book and what is it about?
All right. So, actually, right now I have co-authored a book with like a lot of other people have contributed to that book. So there, I was asked to write on how to give a UN-worthy speech. Right. So this book is doing well. It's already an international bestseller, and that gave me the idea. Surprisingly, even though I speak, I communicate, but that gave me the idea to write. And some people asked me also to write a book on communication. And for me, communication is very critical,
Yeah.
because, we may have the best ideas in the world, or we may believe very strongly about a cause. But if we cannot express ourselves, if we cannot articulate it, it is useless,
Mm.
right? And it is not only for activism. Even if you're an entrepreneur, if you're creating an iPhone, and if you cannot express yourself and say what iPhone is all about, it is useless. So, Steve Jobs is one of the best communicators ever. He was a master at it. And another thing is, most of us, for most our life, whenever we do not speak up, there are times when we have to speak up. We have to not take the easy way out and be quiet. There are times when we have to say, hey, this is not right, this is not on, I don't stand for it. It could be for your individual self, or you see some crime happening in the society. Because let's face it, all the crimes, they thrive because of yours and mine silence. Silence of the victim, silence of the society, silence of the family member, and the perpetrators of the crime actually bank on the silence. Otherwise, how do you think so many child sexual abuse cases, like these perpetrators thrive? Because they bank on our silence. So communication is, for me, is much more than just getting on the stage and talking, or talking very suavely. It's not that. It's like that power. And every time we keep quiet about things we need to talk about, we lose a little bit of power. And so Like I said, so I'm writing a book about communication. It is not going to be fluff. I'm going to share some techniques. I intend it to be like a thin book, but filled with proper knowledge, proper technique, so that anyone who buys the book will have the basics which go into making themselves a good communicator. They should be able to express what they feel very deeply and take the power back.
Thank you so much. And that's a beauty of life. It's true. We very need to be able to know how to communicate properly so we can express ourselves, but also we can actually share our ideas with other people. Now, I would like us to, so where can we find you? Where do you love hanging out?
I am on Facebook, like I by Ruchi Singh Talks. I have it on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, like my Facebook page, Instagram, anywhere, everywhere. I'm by that name, Ruchi Singh Talks. Other than my LinkedIn, there it is Ruchi Singh. So yeah, people can find me there. And I do respond to DMs if they are sensible.
For that. And
Yes.
I have one more question.
Yes.
If it was your last day in this earth, what would you like to share if you have a message inside of you that you want to share to the world? What would that message be?
Just add value to your life. You know, when you add value to your life, you're automatically adding value to others' life as well. Because if I rise, the society rises with me. Right? So just add value. And when I say value, I mean the real stuff. It doesn't matter if you have 2 million or 20 million followers. It's good. If you've earned it, it is good and congratulations. But you know, how many people have you helped? Have you like really done something which has added to another human being's life? And if you have not, if the answer is no, then maybe you have to start living and doing that. Because like I said, when I faced almost certain death, that was the thing which I asked myself later, that what if I had died? What would have been the value of my life? So I think that is very important. And be happy. Like I know, you know, but it is all about happiness, isn't it? Whatever we do it with the hope that we'll be happy. The end result is that.
Exactly. And that's the way it is. End of the day, living this life without happiness, is it really the best? It's not. So be happy in what we do every single day, but what we actually give out to people. If I can share my smile to somebody and makes their smile or makes them smile or makes them feel good about themselves, then at least I've done something positive. So
Yes.
I want thank you so much, Ruchi, this amazing show that you've given us today and to actually know you deep down. And I would like to ask you, would you be willing to come back?
Yes, if you're willing to have a person who keeps forgetting names and the summit she's been on, then why not? I would. And can I add one thing I want to add for women, because I think this is mostly targeted towards women, right? So I want to share this with all the women, no matter what you do. Always value yourself, love yourself, and respect yourself. Always. Because if you do not love yourself or value yourself or respect yourself, then you're giving that signal to others that maybe you're not worth it, and you are very, very worth it. And get financially stable, very important.
Exactly. I love that. And it's so true because sometimes we tell ourselves when someone else sees worth, that I will feel worth or I will feel that worthy of being and having the life I deserve. To be honest, it's not about them, it's about you. It starts with you. And Ruchi, what the way she said it perfectly. So please listen and do that for yourself. Ruchi,
Yeah.
thank you for this amazing day. And for everybody else, I cannot wait for the next guest to come. And I wish you all the best. Ruchi, What would you like to share before we leave today?
I have shared so much already. just just be happy, you know. It's a beautiful life. Just be happy. Let go of the sad things. Utilize that every adversity you have in life. Feel the pain. You feel the pain. Feel sorry for yourself for 2 3 days, 4 days, whatever that we deserve to heal. But after that, let go, because you deserve more. It is not even about others, it is about you. You deserve more. And there would, if you've really gone through trauma, you would understand there will be days when you don't even feel like getting out of the bed, and that is also okay. Accept that it will happen, that you want to cry, and it is your trauma and your nightmares, and it is okay to give yourself that self love and say, I am sad. Accept it. And don't say, no, no, positive thinking, positive thinking. No, be sad. But then after that, pull yourself and carry on.
Exactly. And guys, we've talked about for this for too long, but also up to you now. So this is where the journey starts. And I just say thank you, Ruchi. I'll say goodbye, everybody out there who's ever listening. Until next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Ruchi.
Thank you. Thank you.